この番組はご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りします。
Are you curious where you can watch the latest episode of Kamen Rider and Sentai every week? Well, since there is no official release, you might have to resort to alternative methods. Personally, when I search for a website to watch Tokusatsu, my top priority is to safeguard my personal data. That's why I rely on SurfsharkVPN, the sponsor of today's video. With Surfshark, your online safety and privacy is paramount as it is effective at concealing your online activities through its VPN capabilities. By encrypting your internet traffic that nobody can pry into your online endeavors or track your digital whereabouts. Additionally, Surfshark enables you to virtually explore the world with a tap thanks to its ability to change your VPN address. By switching your location to anywhere in America, let's say, you can access at least over 10 Ultraman shows and movies, or explore other Toku shows available on Tokusatsu. You can poke around at the Japanese Premium Bandai page and discover a captivating array of expensive children's toys. I highly recommend getting Surfshark VPN today, as it comes with an extra 3 months. Simply click the link in the description, and if you are unsatisfied, rest assured there is a 30-day money-back guarantee. So why wait any longer? Take advantage of this fantastic offer and sign up now. It's an incredible opportunity for all of you, my fellow Tokusatsu fans. Well, this is the Keiichi Hasegawa show. This was a very impressive first episode. How much they did parlay a lot of information in about 20 minutes, it still was a very good introduction to the world of GOTCHARD. This review is going to be structured not like my regular ones. It's going to be way more focused on the characters that we right now see and how they contributed to the episode. Let's start with our protagonist of the show and a lot of people's first introduction to the type of character that Keiichi Hasegawa is slightly well known for, Houtarou Ichinose, aka Kamen Rider GOTCHARD. He's a high school student that hasn't found his gacha, meaning that he doesn't know what to do in the future. It doesn't seem like he's the brightest student in the class and tend to daydream a lot. When he's not in high school, he helps his single mother in her restaurant. Because it is a Reiwa era Kamen Rider show, it means that our main rider needs to have some parental issues, aka his dad is gone. He's so gone, a literal business card is blocking his head. I think the only rider that never had parental issues in the Reiwa era is Toma from Saber. Maybe because of that, Saber was the worst season in the Reiwa era. After following his classmate Rinne Kudo, he discovers that she is an alchemist. And this is where he pretty much meets Hopper 1. I did really like how the show made their first interaction between Hopper 1 and Houtarou being kind of scary, almost horror-like. Like, oh no, maybe Hopper 1 is going to kill him. I don't know, it's cool. And after he and Rena meet up and try to fight Steamliner, and this is how he discovered that, maybe Rena is hiding something with her transforming into her alchemy school uniform, which is really cool. Houtarou gets isekai'd and transported to the Ouroboros realm. And this is where he meets Reina's dad, where he entrusts him with the driver and teleports him back before he quote-unquote dies, that he needs to collect all the Chemies, in exception to Steamliner and Hopper 1 that got released but are very much in the cards. He tries to fight one of the 3 Dark Sisters that fuse with the Mentes Chemi unsuccessfully, so he transforms and goes to his weird CG wild form. Thank God he transforms again and becomes Kamen Rider GOTCHARD. In a really cool fight scene where they really use the drone-like camera and a really cool, like, semi-steamy room. It looked cool. I don't know. And after that great fight scene and a really cool rider kick, he separates the Dark Sister from the Kemi and captured the Mentes Kemi card. After that, we discovered that their history teacher is also a part of the alchemy school and has the power to erase people's memories of Kemi's interaction. Houtarou, as a protagonist, is very much a back-to-basic approach, with him being a naive kid that doesn't know really what he wants to do. How much it's very much back to basic, it really does feel like a Hasegawa ultra protagonist. I really feel a lot of Haruki from Ginga, I feel a lot of Kamen from Nexus. It kind of feels weird to, relay a Hasegawa Kamen Rider protagonist to an ultra protagonist, but they do really semi-feel alike. And it's going to be kind of interesting to see Houtarou slowly kind of forming into Kamen Rider GOTCHARD as a hero, and when he's going to find his gacha. Because his gacha is not going to be, oh, me being a Kamen Rider. No, it's not. It is kind of interesting that they did kind of like made his dad like, oh, he's not here and we're going to hide his face. Almost like his dad is going to be someone special. Here's the thing. It's not Tsukasa from Decade. If it is, it'd be funny. Like everybody was like, oh, Tsukasa is not there. They haven't showed him in the presser. Maybe they're doing it as a surprise. Maybe. I don't know. But it could be funny if it's just Tsukasa's actor and it's not even like Tsukasa from Decade. It's just, oh, it's the same actor, but it's a completely different character. I don't know. I would have find it funny, but probably it's like the history teacher. I don't know. This is the first thing that came to mind. It's like, oh, that looks like the same build as the history teacher. But I don't know. The history teacher is weird. We're going to talk about him way later. And also having him not only naming the driver, but also naming his rider name is really cool. And I really like how much the show kind of gives the title of a Kamen Rider as someone like something very big, because like literally last season everyone was a Kamen Rider. So now having like this big moment of like, oh my god, I rechristen you a Kamen Rider, it feels big. I don't know. Houtarou is going to be interesting down the line. Specifically, like, okay, how people going to react to him is going to be very interesting, because Hasegawa characters, specifically main protagonists, have kind of like two effects to them. Or people really love them. I can say that I love Kamen, I love Haruki, I love Shinasuka, I really like the group dynamic of Daizenon, I really like the actual protagonist of Gridman, because like those characters I really like. So it's going to be very interesting down the line to see other people's reactions, because the way that Hasegawa writes his characters, it's or you really love them and you like get attached to them, or you're pretty much indifferent to them. Because I never really heard someone that actually dislike a character that he writes. It's most of the time it's like, oh, he was fine, never really cared for him. So it's going to be kind of interesting down the line to see people's reaction to a lot of the characters in this show, specifically Houtarou being the main protagonist. So now let's talk about our main heroine of the show, Rinne Kudo. Hope I say her name correctly. I really like her. Her being a completely opposite spot in life than Houtarou is going to be an interesting story that they're going to tell between Houtarou and Rinne, because she already knows what she needs to do, because her role is already set. And she doesn't want that. Probably doing something with the school. So it's kind of interesting to see, okay, what's the role that she's very much like destined to do and why she doesn't want that? Is it maybe related to the school? Maybe it could be related to the GOTCHARD driver. And it's really interesting to see her interaction with Houtarou, because it's kind of an interesting one, because she's like, I don't really know you. She was kind of mean to Houtarou at first, but when she understood that, he's not that bad of a kid, I'll be nicer to him, was really fun. And also having her kind of help Houtarou in the fight was really cool. Again, Hasegawa really knows how to write female characters. Okay, not all the time. The girls from Ginga, all the time it's like the girls from Ginga was the only ones that are like, those are two really weak characters. They're so weak, I forgot their name. I know how they look like. I just forgot their names. So it's going to be really interesting down the line to see maybe she would become a writer in one point. It's not even a maybe, it's 100% she will. So it's going to be kind of interesting how she's going to get a driver, how the next writer system is going to work. I know I'm like talking about something that is right now so far ahead, but with her not only helping Houtarou in the fight, but also trying to fight Steamliner before Houtarou became GOTCHARD was really cool. And I really like the idea that, you know, GOTCHARD is not fighting alone. He's going to have some people to help him. And it's going to be kind of interesting to see how Houtarou and Reina kind of slowly bond. And not even in a way of a romance, way more two friends really love to hanging out. We don't need to do a romance all the time. But I will ship Reina's dad with Hotarou's mom. I'm just saying. Let's talk about our kind of main group of villains, being the three Dark Sisters. I feel like they're really cool. The idea that we have like a villain group that is all females. We don't really get that a lot. So now having like a group of females being the main antagonist of the show is really cool. I hope we're not changing that in the middle of the series. Just keep it being them. I really like the idea that they are after the GOTCHARD driver, probably because the capabilities of the GOTCHARD driver of fusing two chemies is something really powerful, and because of that they see it as the key to the destruction. So like I see that way more than they want it because physical key, it's a metaphorical key, it's not a physical one. And also like I really like how much all like three of them has something kind of interesting. The main one being like a small girl, and from what I understand, like age-wise, she's the oldest. Japan is weird. I don't know why, but it's hilarious. Like you have like the girl that fought against Houtarou when he was GOTCHARD. She looks like the one that's going to like mainly do a lot of the fighting. And then you have the other girl that find Reina's dad really hot. Hey, I get it. He's a handsome man, but like you're underage. He's very old. I don't know. I like it. And I like the idea that they fuse with the chemies. How much I really like it, it does kind of scare me that the main villains are going to be just a revolving door of different factions that want the GOTCHARD driver. How much it is going to be interesting to see multiple groups wanting this one item. But I really like the three Dark Sisters. They're really cool, not only like because they're a full female faction and their leader is a 12-year-old girl. Again, it's hilarious. I just want to see that girl doing the Orange Cassidy kicks to GOTCHARD, and just GOTCHARD needed to sell it because she's like ultra powerful. I don't know. It's hilarious to me. But I hope maybe it would be kind of like, okay, retreading those same ground of having one of the girls just kind of, maybe it's like the one that find Reina's dad really hot. Maybe she would be the one that kind of like take a chemi and take a regular human and fuses them. This is probably what's going to happen, isn't it? I'm fine with it, but I don't know. I hope that they would be just the main villains and there is like no one above them. It's just all three of them. And they are the main villain, and the final boss of the season is the 12-year-old girl. Please, it would be hilarious. Because like here's the thing, you don't need to have the girl all the time. You can kind of have stock footage of her being there. And when they need to film the final battle, it's already they filming in summer and she's not in school, so you can do that. Please don't kill her off that fast. Come on, I understand she has school, but like make her the final villain. Make it Agito season 2 of just they need to fight a little boy, but now it's a little girl. Let's talk about the chemies. I love them. They're just Pokemons that just say their name, and like Hopper 1 is just Oppa, Oppa, and he just jumps around, and this is how he talks, and Steamliner is just driving around town, almost killing people, just yelling his name. I don't know. I find it amusing. And I like the idea that like some of them have like actual like 3D models, the others don't. And we actually got to see like a glimpses of the rider machine in this episode. And it's kind of funny. I don't know. It's just the bike driving around. I love it. I love the idea that they're just Pokemons and Digimons. It's going to be kind of interesting down the line to maybe have them actually like talk, or just they're going to do the Pokemon thing of like they're talking, they're saying their name. There's going to be a character that actually understands them and he's just going to relay what they say. I don't know. It's fun. I hope that we're not going to exceed the 101 and just maybe specific Kemi cards would just get upgraded kind of slowly and slowly. That's what's going to happen, because like already I don't like the way they sell it as like booster packs and you very much need RNG gods to get everything. I don't like that. I like card gimmicks. I don't like that idea of a card gimmick. It feels very kind of money grabby. I don't know. So yeah, I really like the Chemies. I don't know what to say more than that. Let's talk about the rest of the characters. I think Renna's dad looks interesting, specifically how and why he had the GOTCHARD driver and why he was entrusted with all 101 Chemies. Was he the original GOTCHARD? Maybe? I don't believe he's the actual person that made the GOTCHARD driver, because we were told that the last time that a human was fused with two Chemies was 120 years ago. So I don't believe he was the original GOTCHARD, and I also don't believe he made the GOTCHARD driver, but maybe he was one of the many people that were supposed to be GOTCHARD, and him being older is like, okay, I don't want my daughter to be a rider, so Steamliner, Hopper, go find me someone that is going to be responsible enough to be a Kamen rider. It's going to be kind of interesting, and maybe because he was supposed or at least transformed once into GOTCHARD, he has a gold ring, because everybody else has silver. Even the history teacher, that right now I kind of forgot his name, but I would remember it in one point, has the same ruby crystal on his ring, but it is still like silver. Maybe him being Kamen Rider GOTCHARD, or at least was supposed to be GOTCHARD, and because of that he has a gold ring. I don't know. The teacher is very interesting because he looks very kind of like fed up with his job and not really liking what he's doing, but when he's in his alchemy uniform, he's very kind of pompous and his chest is up. It feels like he's way more proud of being an alchemy teacher than a history teacher. It's really interesting, and it's also really interesting why he's like putting on a front as a history teacher. Ichinose's friend is really interesting also, with him being very much infatuated with kaijus, so it's going to be kind of interesting down the line to see when he figures out that his best friend is a Kamen Rider and he fights kaijin alongside kind of kaijins. I don't know. I find him kind of interesting, and it's probably going to lead into an episode where one of the Dark Sisters is going to fuse the Kemi with him. 100% it's going to happen, probably around episode 25 or 26, and it's going to be this big emotional moment where GOTCHARD is going to get his mid-season super form. Soundtrack-wise, I really like a lot of the background instruments, specifically like the moment where Renna's dad gives Houtarou the driver, and there is this really cool kind of like song in the background, and the openings sound really cool. Let's talk about GOTCHARD. His wild form is absolutely terrible looking. We don't need to talk about it. I think GOTCHARD as a suit is fine. Like, I don't really hate it, but I don't outly love it. I really like kind of like the train and the grasshopper motif because you can clearly see it, but anything after that is kind of like weird looking. I don't know. Like, I think GOTCHARD is very much like middle of the road, like look wise, suit design wise, at least for me. Like, I don't hate it. I really like the goggles. I really like the antennas. I like antennas on my riders. I really like the chest piece. The chest piece is like the coolest part because it very much kind of takes both the train and the grasshopper elements and fuses them, where like the head is very much grasshopper and the leg are very much grasshopper, where like the middle of the chest and kind of the shoulder pads kind of combine both of the grasshopper motifs and the train motifs. I like the driver. The rider kick looks very cool. Yeah, this is what I think about GOTCHARD. So before I leave you all, I have one final thing to do, and that is introduce to you my rating system. It's going from F to S+. So, GOTCHARD episode 1 gets the Ultraman Ace A. Again, it was a really fun introduction to the world of GOTCHARD, which I genuinely enjoyed. So, what you thought about the first episode of Kamen Rider GOTCHARD? Comment below, let me know. Thanks for Surfshark for sponsoring my channel. Subscribe to my channel if you didn't, and have a great rest of your day.